now we'll be moving on to the next session by Morocco. We have the next speaker, Apurva Pandey, and his topic for the day is navigating growth and profitability in a dynamic ecosystem, along with embracing resilience and innovation. So, with a round of applause, let's invite Apurva Pandey on the stage.
Hi, good morning, guys. A little louder, please.
Good morning.
This is going to be an interactive session. It's not going to be a monologue. So I need your participation. It's important. To start off, I would want to share a little incident that I have faced in the past. A few years back, I was in a startup. And it was in a very, very old building. Now that old building had a very old elevator. Yeah. So that old building had a very old elevator. Every morning, every employee used to get into that building. Psychologically, it took around 2 minutes from going from ground floor to the 14th floor. Can you imagine? Every morning, 2 minutes, stuck in an elevator. Once you want to start your productive day. The HR, the admin, got a lot of complaints. A lot of complaints. The answer is simple, right? You just change the elevator. It's a very simple answer. But at that point of time, the organization it was not good. At that point, the organization did not have the money, nor the bandwidth, nor the resources to invest on it. It was a bootstrap, right? It was actually my startup. Right? We did not have the money to do it. So what we did instead, in that old elevator, we installed a mirror. Right? A mirror. What happened after that? The complaints reduced. Right? So psychologically, every person in that elevator. So we were seeing inside. Okay, can you go by actually? Psychologically, everybody in that elevator, right? From 2 minutes, psychologically the time reduced to 20 seconds. Because every morning, people would get in the elevator, they would look at themselves, fix their hair, right? Be engaged, and it reduces the time. So, psychological solution to a real world problem, right? I think so that is where the innovation is. Just a mirror could bring that kind of a difference. Can you move ahead? Can you move ahead? So similarly, the India gaming sector is at its inflection point. And it is in our hands to make it strategic. Right? Have you seen the movie Matrix? Anybody has seen the movie Matrix? There's a red pill and there's a blue pill. Right? Can you get the next slide, please? And this is where the mind shift. Mind has to change. There has to be a paradigm shift. Right? A very beautiful word called AND. A-N-D. We use this word in every second sentence. Right? But the gravity of this word is immense. So the builders of greatness reject the tyranny of all and embrace the greatness of act. Let's take a few examples. Can we give on the presentation? Discipline and creativity. Not all. Right? Discipline and creativity creates magic. Continuity and change. Humility and will. Freedom and responsibility. Empirical analysis and decisive action. Right? Every word at the starting and at the end of AND makes a difference. And if you build AND to it in the polar opposite directions, that is where the change happens. Similarly, growth and profitability, which is the motto of the discussion today. Right? Gone are those days where we discuss in Q1, we look at growth, and in Q3, we look at profitability. That's the red pill. Don't take the red pill. Right? It's a placebo. Right? It will do you no good. Let's take inspiration from the world of physics. Can we go to the next step? Has everybody done their 10th and 12th? I'm guessing yes. Right? You would have read physics?
Yes.
Very beautiful formula in physics is of momentum. Momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Let us build that in the advertising context. Can we click please? Momentum for any business is equal to number of users into revenue. Let's break down revenue. Revenue is frequency of purchase, retention of paying users, and average purchase value. And this is where the beauty of and comes into the picture. If you grow users and revenue, the momentum, your business will drive it, right? If in Q1 you take a decision, okay, we'll focus on users, profitability is later. Once you go for an IPO, you lose out on momentum. After an IPO, you figure out, or closer to IPO, you figure out. And now we look at profitability. You lose out on momentum, right? To drive momentum, it is the genius of and, which is very important. It is users into revenue. Great. Next slide, please. Enough yarn from my side, right? Let's do a small little quiz. And how we are going to plan this out is, there will be certain metrics and there will be certain channels. Once I call out the channel, with the raise of hands, please tell me which channel do you think is doing the best? Are the numbers visible? It is visible. Level 1 metrics. CPA, 30-day ROAS, and number of users. Channel A, channel B, and channel C. I'll just give it 10 more seconds. How many of you think channel A is a better channel? With the raise of hands. How many of you think channel B is a better channel? Nice. How many of you feel channel C is a better channel? Alright, pick please. Obvious answer, right? Everybody sees these metrics day in and day out. Easier to judge. Let's go to the next level of metrics. Now we are going to the mid of the iceberg. So just the tip of the iceberg. Frequency of purchase, 90-day retention, uninstall rate, and ARPU. 10 more seconds to register these metrics. Right? Now how many of you think channel A is better? Good participation. Nice. How many of you think channel B is doing better? No one. Okay. How many of you think channel C is doing better? Amazing. Can we click please? Majority got it right. You're a very educated crowd out here. That's great. Can we go to the bottom of the iceberg? Let us look at the iceberg from the bottom of the ocean. Velocity to profitability, quick ratio, mental market share, ESOP. Before we get to the answers, how many of you are looking at these metrics for the very first time? Okay. A lot of you, right? Majority. Okay. We'll come to defining these metrics. See, some of the metrics are conditional metrics. Some of these metrics are absolute metrics and some are derived metrics. Always look at those metrics which combine a lot of metrics in one. Great leaders, they do not need to look at a whole length of metrics. Some of the metrics tell you about the health of the business, which exactly is the level 3 of metrics. Give it a guess, right? Channel A, B, C, and please say it out loud instead of raising hands. Which do you think is better? Sorry? A? Can we click please? Yes, absolutely. Now let's come to defining these metrics, which are going to be very critical in the new paradigm. Next slide please. I believe everyone here measures their market share with competitors. For knowledge, share of voice is equal to number of your brand impressions divided by the number of category impressions, right? Your category impressions. That is your share of voice in advertising. Share of market is number of your paying users divided by your category paying users. If let's say today your share of market is 60% and your share of voice is also 60%, your brand is stable. It's not going to go anywhere, right? If market is 60% and your share of voice is 20%. Over time, your brand is going to shrink. And you can do a whole lot of analysis. You will never know what really, what worked, what didn't work, what is going wrong. Right? Was it the creative? Was it we did not do a brand campaign? Was it whatever it was? There will be not one single thing you can point your finger to. And this is empirical data. Right? Tested with not just one industry, multiple industries. Can you click please? 2 clicks. If your brand, that single dot, your startup, your share of voice is closer to 60%, but your share of market is less than 20%. Over time, your brand is going to grow. Then also you'll not be able to point a finger to it, what really work. So it's important to understand this correlation. Right? Share of market is a lagging metric. It tells you the outcome of your activities. Share of voice is a leading metric. It tells you where you are going to be. Right? So it is important to be consistent in share of voice. And share of voice measures the mental market share, which is directly proportional to the physical market share. That's the part of the equation. Is your inflow greater than the outflow? Right? Everybody says, oh, we have a leaky bucket. We don't want a leaky bucket. Right? This exactly tells you if you really have a leaky bucket or if you don't have a leaky bucket. What is quick ratio? Formula is very simple. New users that you acquire plus the users that you reactivate divided by the churn users. If your denominator is greater, you have a leaky bucket. If your numerator is greater, you have a compounding business. And this has to be measured at a user level and at revenue. Right? Because we are solving both growth and profitability. So this is one of my favorite metrics to assess any brand, either in the gaming sector, either in e-commerce, either in fintech. Whether this brand has the right strategy, has the right marketing strategy, or does it not have the right marketing strategy. A lot of brands today, and I think so you will also relate, just focus on one part of the equation, which is primarily new users. Right? Everybody is out there to acquire new users. Nobody measures the latent effect or the rub-off effect that new user campaigns might have on the reactivated users. Because in a month you might acquire 2 million new users, but you reach out to more than 200 million people if you have a decent enough budget. Right? And churn management is more of a, it is not a marketing exercise, it's more of a mathematical modeling exercise, that's a perception. But no, it is a marketing exercise. You can influence churn by intelligent marketing. So this is one of the metrics to keep in mind to make sure, is your business compounding, is it inflow greater than the output? Alright. Can we go to the next slide? So with all these metrics in mind, we did a global survey. Right? We roughly asked a lot of people, right, across geographies, that what are the most important factors that you want to choose in an advertising platform? Maximum said advanced machine learning. What is machine learning, right? Everybody talks about AI, ML, right? Everybody does that. What is machine learning? Let's define it. Very simple examples. Next slide, please. So there are 2 cars. They look the same. Same model, same color, right? Everything is the same. The dimension is the same. But I urge you to pop the hood. Look at the engine. Next slide, please. Once you look at the engine, one is running a stock engine and one is turbocharged. Right? Now I urge you to drive the cars. As soon as you sit in this car, you will know the difference. Right? There's no going back from there. You'll not even look at this car. That's exactly the thing with machine learning. Next slide, please. In today's date, machine learning has inculcated in our lives more seamlessly than you ever think. ChatGPT, YouTube, Ram was talking about YouTube, right? Amazon, we all use these products day in and day out, right, to help ourselves in certain ways. This is all helped by machine learning. 4 key pillars to machine learning. 1, it is autonomous. That means it is self-learning. It is making its own decisions day in and day out. It can do real-time predictions. You get to real-time predictions. It can be operated at immense scale, right? And it has domain expertise. That means it is catered towards providing a specific solution to a specific problem. 4 key pillars. Can you go to the next slide, please? So at Moloko, right, Moloko receives 600 billion bid requests per day. 600 billion. That's insane. That's huge. It takes 14 milliseconds to drive an accurate prediction. Now let's put 14 milliseconds into some context. If you see an ad, and if you have to click on an ad, and brain has to give you a signal to click on an ad, that is 300 milliseconds. For Moloko's machine learning, it takes 14 milliseconds to drive an accurate prediction. We drive billions and billions of accurate predictions per day. That's insane, right? And that is where the marvel of engineering and product is. And this is where we distinguish what is true ML and what is not. Next slide, please. So, this is the ending slide, right? Stop hoping for outcomes and stop measuring outcomes like they're outcomes. Use them as inputs into a machine learning platform and optimize your business results. Profitability, optimize for it. User growth, optimize for it. Whatever it is, optimize for it. Because there are platforms which can cater to this business. Next slide. Thank you so much. Any questions? Yes, Tisha.
You spoke about reactivation as a byproduct of acquisition campaigns. There are a lot of papers published on it. But in a deterministic way, if I were to set, let's say, an incrementality test, because largely if you go out to any business team, the question would be, if I don't do it, or these users would have come in organically.
Yes.
So how do you establish net incrementality as a byproduct and how do you measure it?
Wow, that's a great question. I will rephrase the question. Retargeting and reactivation, right? Incrementality is a key measure. Right? A lot of times these efforts are not incremental. How do we ensure that any retargeting activity or reactivation activity we do is incremental? That's right. So there are incrementality solutions, right? One every company uses is drawing a CG and a TG. Right? You take 10% of these users as CG and 90% of them as TG. If 90% are incremental, right, then you assume that entire cohort is incremental. But that's not the case. Because those 90% do at a match rate. They do at a reach rate. Right? There's a big loss of audience segments. The correct way to do it is 2 ways. One is provide an incrementality at a bid level. So where do both bidding? Or do geosyntheses. Right? Identify patterns and behavior, and that is what ML platforms can help you do. Right? Identify patterns and behaviors of the people. A cohort of people and a cohort of people in other geographies. Right? Which of these 2 people, if I put it as a CG, got the impressions, did a downstream action, and how many people did not see an impression for sure and did not do the incrementality.
How do we do it if we want to check? Because the point is that on acquisition campaigns, you do get a lot of reactivations because of exposure. Not
Yes.
every, let's say, exchange has the ability to negate users who would probably be in the system. That means users who would have installed an app or signed up are getting exposed to that, correct? And that's what the point was. The new user acquisition campaigns add to incremental reactivation. Yes. On a running campaign, is there any possible way to segment out the control set which you were suggesting for an acquisition campaign to measure the impact on reactivation?
It is very much possible. So let's say you have a campaign runs, right? And it acquires X amount of new users and Y amount of reactivated users. In that campaign, you can segregate the TG versus the CG. The TG will be separated both for users and reactivated users at a bid level. In return, the output you will get as a result is how many incremental users you got and how many incremental reactivated users. That explains. Great. Thank you so much.